ॐ वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मामृतङ्गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. Let us offer our salutations to Lord Krishna, the embodiment of bliss, who came to establish dharma and punish the wicked. Let us pray to him to lead us from unreal to real, to lead us from darkness and ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. In the last class we were discussing about verse number 22, Yam labdva chaparam labham manyate nadikam tataha yasmin sthito nudakyena gurunapi vichalyate. See, that highest state of experience of the Atman, once he reaches that state and gains that experience, that is unparalleled. Nothing more is to be achieved. So, having established in that state, that person is not moved even by heavy sorrow. His goal is reached and is not disturbed by anything. That is the proof of his experiencing that highest state. And how true it is, Sri Ramakrishna also gives an example in the Gospel about the farmer. There is a farmer who had only one son, and that son also was born after a long time. So naturally, the parents loved him so much because after so many years he was born. As usual, the farmer had been to the field for working, and while working in the field, a neighbor came running to him. Sir, your son is seriously ill, almost on the point of death. So the farmer heard it, but he was not agitated or restless. With a calm mind, he returned home and found the boy already dead. Wife, the mother, she wept very bitterly, but the father's eyes were dry. There was not a drop of drop coming from the eyes. There was no tear drop. Then the wife made a remark to the neighbors. See, such a son who was born after a long time had passed away, and he has not even one tear to shed. She made that statement out of tremendous grief. But after a long time, the farmer replied to his wife, look, do you know why I am not crying? Last night I dreamt I had become a king, and I was the father of 7 princes. Those princes were very beautiful as well as virtuous. They grew in stature and acquired wisdom and knowledge in the various arts. Suddenly I woke up. Now, I have been wondering whether I should weep for those 7 children or this one boy. He could make that statement because he was a realized person, a man of knowledge. He knew this waking state is also a kind of dream. Ignorance is a state of dream only. That's why the men of wisdom say, wake up from the waking state. Waking up from the waking state, that is to become enlightened. That is, to the jnanis, the waking state is no more real than the dream state. It's a changing phenomenon. Anything that changes should not be called as real. And there is no point in weeping over that. Change is inevitable, and we should aspire for that which is not changing, and that is Atman, that is not changing at all. So to the jnanis, the working state and the walking state, and in all the activities, he sees only the reality. He is firmly convinced that divine force is the doer. Everything happens by the will of the divine power. That's a fact. But we have to experience that. Then only you will enjoy the glory of that statement. It is said, even the blade of grass moves by the will of God. It happens. It doesn't ask you reason. It happens. You have to face it. That's all. Then the next verse, verse number 23. Tam vidya dukkha samyoga viyogam yoga sangitam sa nischayena yuktavyo yogo nirvinna chetasa. Let that be known by the name of yoga, that is this separation from union with pain. This yoga should be practiced with determination and with an undaunted mind. So, Sri Krishna is telling that we have to prepare very well for the practice of yoga. First of all, we must have very strong mind, in the sense undaunted mind. It should not be shaken by anything. They say the mind should be like an anvil. Whatever strokes you put on the anvil, it is not shaken. This state, free from all sorrow, is true yoga, and that is God realization. Once you realize that state of enlightenment, then sorrow ceases to exist. But this state of yoga is not easy to attain. It should be practiced resolutely and with an unwearied heart. The beginner is disheartened when he does not see any immediate results following his sadhana. After some days, maybe weeks or months of meditation and discipline, he begins to lose heart and says to himself, this train is too much for me. I see no end to my efforts. I doubt if this discipline will ever be crowned with success. So, doubt comes to everybody. In fact, doubt is also a kind of terrible obstacle in the spiritual path. But then, there is a way to overcome it. And that is the need of perseverance in this path. The yoga practice should be clung to with him with firm determination. He would walk the way of meditation. He should be having strong determination. He should not let himself be overcome by a feeling of defeatism. He should stick to the teaching of his spiritual teacher, regarding it as the one essential duty of his life. And one day, certainly, he will win the goal. That is, he will realize the divine. So what is needed is Anirvindna Chetasa. That's the most important phrase in this verse. Anirvindna Chetasa means one should zealously pursue spiritual path, not yielding to any sort of depression. Things come, we are forced to be depressed, we are forced to become unpleasant. All such things happen depending upon various reasons, depending upon our association and our life. There's got various factors. But then he should not yield. That's what Shri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Klaipyam masano partha. Never yield to weakness. So, you should follow, pursue spiritual path, not yielding to any sort of depression. Swami Brahmanji said, in the primary stage, the aspirant should slowly but steadily increase his hours of meditation. Otherwise, if because of a momentary enthusiasm, he suddenly tries to increase his hours of meditation, he will find the reaction difficult to bear. He will become depressed and then he will lose the power to meditate. It is a difficult task to lift a depressed mind and turn it back to spiritual practices. So, don't get disheartened. This is the guidance given by Swami Brahmanji. He said, it is but natural that you feel depressed now and then. It's a natural thing, it happens. Faith saves us. Everyone feels depressed at times, but all do not show it. So Adbhutanji said, why should you be so depressed? Do you think you understand everything about human life? Know that no life goes in vain in God's realm. Once Brother Shashi, this is Ramakrishnaji, gave a very apt illustration to someone like you. A man was out walking and came upon a canal. Seeing that he would have to jump over it in order to continue on his way, he took several strides backward to get a running start for his sleep. As he ran forward and jumped over the canal, he covered not only the distance he had moved backward, but also the canal itself. Now can you tell me whether his several steps backward were helpful or harmful? A man might have to take backward steps in this present life, but he will undoubtedly run forward in the next. Swami Shardanji said, another direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, you feel depressed because your faith is lukewarm. You must cultivate self-confidence. When you feel depressed, you must drive away that feeling by saying, I belong to the Lord. He is my very own. I am His child. He is holding me by the hand and will surely do what is good for me. These thoughts will bring strength to your nerves and faith in your heart. You should drive away all depressive thoughts, telling yourself that it is nature of the mind to have passions and they rise due to past habit. Fix your mind on God and they will leave you alone. Bestow no thought on what is past. If negative thoughts arise, pay no attention. Consider them as insignificant things beneath your notice. Whenever you feel miserable and spiritual, life seems dry. You must drive these feelings away by thinking that you are His servant, His child, part of Himself, and that your chosen identity is always there holding you by His hand. You are safe in His care, and nothing but good will come to you in the end. Remembering this, you must pick up strength and banish from your heart all depressing thoughts. Despondency is the greatest obstacle in spiritual life. It saps energy and destroys my ability to struggle. So one has to be really very careful about this despondency. Swami Akhandananda said, have you read the book Up from Slavery, the great story of service, of educating the people? It tells of how they made their own bricks with which they built the school. In the beginning they were unable to do so, but after repeated failure they succeeded. He that is born with a mission does not stop at obstacles. He is never depressed. He will finish his work and then only rest. So, it is very clear that we should not give room for any depression. And we should not despair. There is no cause for despair. The effect of meditation is inevitable, so Brahmanji assured. Swami Shivanandaji, another direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, said, know for certain that the impossible becomes possible through the divine grace. Never allow despair to enter your mind. Swami Adbhutanandaji said, a man can attain peace if he gives up worldly enjoyment, for such enjoyment is the source of sorrow and sufferings, disease and despair. All the sufferings are because of this. Swami Ramakrishnanandaji, another direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, he said, let me remind you of certain passages from the Gita which console, invigorate and drive away despair from the minds of even the most dejected. When Arjuna asked Sri Bhagavan about the man who had gone astray from the true path in the midst of his progress, and about such a one losing both worldly and religious concerns, Sri Krishna replied, dear Arjuna, the man who does even the least of good deeds never becomes wretched in his afterlife. Name bhakta pranashyati. He takes his birth in the home of the holy and the pious and begins a life of godliness and piety. Hence, if even for a second you do feel or think a good thought, it is sure to be of great gain to you. Never give way to despair, for it is the Lord Himself that consoles every son of man. Promising, O Arjuna, declare it before all men that my devotee never meets with misfortune or destruction. Swami Shardanji said, don't despair if at the beginning you do not get any result from your spiritual practice and worship. If you keep the practice with patience and resolution, you will get its result at the right time. There is no doubt about it. Later on, if you proceed still further, you will come to understand everything from within. Another direct disciple, Swami Vijnanandaji, he also tells about this matter. The river of time is flowing on. Will it only do to the drifting with the current? You have got to cross the river, and you can get across only when you swim with the help of that current. Never give way to despair and dejection. Without perseverance, nothing great can be achieved. You should go on telling your beads, morning and evening, even though the mind wanders. You should never give it up. And there is no reason to despair either. In time everything will come out all right. Your mind may not settle always on your object of worship, but it must get settled for some time at least. Maybe once in 15 minutes. That should be enough. Swami Shivanandaji, he observes, low thoughts will come and go. Don't think they are coming only to you. They come to all the people who are struggling. They do come. They are on the bottom of the mind, they are coming to the surface. Because of the impurities of the mind, they do come. But don't mind them. Through the divine grace, as a result of constant practice, you will get through. Don't yield to despondency. It makes your mind restless. Always think that you are blessed, that you are the children of the Lord. Despondency is the greatest obstacle in spiritual life. It saps energy and destroys your ability to struggle. If despondency comes, then drive it away by thinking thus, I am God's handmaid. I am His daughter. It's part and parcel. My Guru and my chosen deity are always holding me by the hand. They are doing that which is for my good. Bring courage to your mind by thus thinking, and thinking of Sri Ramakrishna. Daily perform the japa of that mantra, about the repetition of which I have already told you. Swami Shivanandaji said, if the mind does not become steadily fixed at the feet of Sri Ramakrishna, then pray to him with yearning, O Lord, please make my mind steady. Know definitely that Sri Ramakrishna is hearing all your words and is able to know all your thoughts and moods. Whatever you think from him, whatever you ask from him with yearning, that indeed you will get. So Brahmanji said, never be discouraged by your failures. Repeated failure is inevitable in the beginning, but keep your faith and redouble your efforts. Try hard to live up to your ideal. So Brahmanji said, never be discouraged, but practice with perseverance. So Turiyanji said, don't get discouraged or disheartened. Why should be always sunshine and at all times and good times? Let mother's will be done. Never mind sunshine or rain, we must not forget mother at any time. Even if we don't see her, why should we lose heart? She appears again in our view. She knows what is best for us. Once we have given over to her, what right have we to think of ourselves again? It's not easy to do so as to say, of that I am sure, but there is no other way out. Whether we see or don't see, Mother is our only place of rest. There are ups and downs in all hearts, but we should not give way to them. Swami Ramakrishna said, you need not complain that you are successful, that you are not successful in your attempts. So it is with almost all people. Only those who are already perfect, only a few Mahatmas can assert that they are thoroughly pure in body, mind and action. To err is human. The only thing we should look after is never to forget loving him, the Master of the universe. Therefore take heart, and though you fail every now and then, try to rise up. Every child before it learns to walk falls down 100,000 times. I can assure you, God helps those who help themselves. Be not displeased with yourself. You are the child of God, and by being displeased with yourself, you are displeased with God's child. Is it not bad? Honor yourself then, for you are the Son of God, who by creating you has not committed any mistake, for he is above all mistakes. As such, He should do something through you, something for which He has brought you down here in this world. So, another point Lord Krishna has stated here, we should have very strong determination when you are practicing yoga. Think of Buddha, what determination he had. After years of searching, he finally sat himself down in the tree, determined to realize God, then and there, or die in the attempt. This is what is needed. As for our blessings, it is always there to be sure. You too have to engage with such spiritual practices with determination. What is wanted is intensity, yearning and sincerity. Once you have the yearning in your mind, success is near at hand. All this does not happen in a single day. Persist in your efforts with determination and everything will come about in due course. The purer the receptacle, the quicker is its manifestation. Just try a little with determination and see whether it happens or not. I warn you further that no speedy result can be expected in this spiritual path. One has to go on persevering in the path day after day, month after month, year after year, with same determination. One has to make spiritual efforts. Mere talk will not do. One has to act with firm determination. One has to strive for God realization. Make a start from this very day, for life is fleeting every moment. Nobody can say when one will have to call for departure. So don't waste a single day. Those who think that these things can be put off for the future never do anything. They will be tossed to this current of birth and death for infinite ages. By remembering the Divine and reflecting on Him, the mind and heart get purified. Apply yourself with determination. I tell you, you will get everything. You must have this forceful determination. Even in this life I must attain success. I must become detached. I must become free in this very body. Can there be anything impossible for me? Clench your fists and say, I will conquer. Now or never. Make that your motto. Even in this life I must see God. That's the only way. Never postpone. What you know to be right, do that and do that at once. Do not let any chance go by. The way to failure is paved with good intentions. That will not do. Remember this life is for the strong, the persevering. The weak go to the wall. And always be on your guard, never give in. Circumstances may or may not be favorable, but who cares? We must strain every nerve to accomplish the thing. If you are determined to do it at any cost, you will find that great obstacles which you thought would overpower you ultimately turn out to help you. But you must struggle sincerely. Does one find circumstances always propitious? Consider what you have got to do as your duty and go on. Are you not undecaying and immortal always? So why should you go about seeking favorable circumstances? It is you who have projected all this. One wishing to bathe in the sea waits and waits with the idea that one would have a plunge when the waves would have subsided. Nonsense. Will that moment ever come? Instead of doing so, you buffet against the waves, have your bath and come out. The sea remains always the same. So in this world, you must manage to call upon the Lord in the midst of all these waves. It is a wild goose chase to be on the lookout for opportunities. Now or never, apply results to it, and disadvantages will turn into advantages. To root out tendencies is an uphill task. But if one has a determination to say, what if I have once done something wrong? Now I know what it is, so I won't do it anymore. Then one can get through. One should have great determination. We must control the mind and not allow the mind to control us. The best period of your life is slipping by. It won't return. But if you practice, you will see for yourself that within a few days a change will come over you. Everything will become clear and easy. Good impressions will establish themselves. Start now. Tell yourself, I should do it. Be a determined spiritual aspirant. Say, either I succeed in this practice of repeating God's holy name, or I shall die in this attempt. You should have such strong determination. The only way out is to think of Mother, Divine Mother, night and day, to surrender ourselves to her unreservedly, with the determination to free ourselves from passions and to effect a complete suppression of them. That is about determination. And then about undaunted mind. All these points are very important when you are pursuing spiritual path. When you are practicing yoga, everything must be practiced very meticulously. A devotee, Vijay Goswami, he asked Sri Ramakrishna, Master, what must the bound soul's condition of mind be in order to achieve liberation? Sri Ramakrishna replied, he can free himself from attachment to lust and greed if by the grace of God he cultivates a spirit of strong renunciation. What is this strong renunciation? One who has only a mild spirit of renunciation says, well, all will happen in the course of time. Let me now simply repeat the name of God. But a man possessed of strong spirit of renunciation feels restless for God, as a mother feels for her own child. A man of strong renunciation seeks nothing but God. He regards the world as a deep well and feels as if he were going to be drowned in it. He looks on his relatives as venomous snakes. He wants to fly away from them, and he goes immediately. He never thinks, let me first make some arrangements for my family and then I shall think of God. He has great inward resolution. Then Sri Ramakrishna tells further, let me tell you a story about strong renunciation. At one time, there was a drought in a certain part of the country. The farmers began to cut long channels to bring water to their fields. One farmer was stubbornly determined. He took a vow that he would not stop digging until the channel connected his field with the river. He set to work. The time came for his bath, and his wife sent their daughter to him with oil. Father, said the girl, it's already late. Rub your body with oil and take your bath. Go away, thundered the farmer. I have too much to do now. It was past midday, and the farmer was still at work in his field. He didn't even think of his bath. Then his wife came and said, why haven't you taken your bath? The foot is getting cold. You overdo everything. You can finish the rest tomorrow or even today after dinner. The farmer scolded her furiously and ran at her, spade in hand, crying, what? Have you got any sense? There is no rain. The crops are drying. The crops are dying. What will the children eat? We will all have to starve to death. I have taken a vow not to think of bath and food today before I bring water to my field. The wife saw his state of mind and ran away in fear. Through a whole day's back-breaking labor, the farmer managed by evening to connect his field with water. Then he sat down and watched the water flowing into his field with a murmuring sound. His mind was filled with peace and joy. He went home, called his wife most affectionately and said to her, well, please now give me some oil and prepare me a smoke. With serene mind, he finished his bath and meal and retired to bed, where he snored to his heart's content. The determination is shown is an example of strong renunciation. Now there is another farmer who was also digging the channel to bring water to his field. His wife too came to the field and said to him, "It's very late, come home, it's not necessary to overdo things." The farmer did not protest much, but put aside his spade and said to his wife, "Well, I will go home since you asked me to." All laughed. That man never succeeded in irrigating his field. This is a cause of mild renunciation. As without strong determination, the farmer cannot bring water to his field, so also without intense yearning, a man cannot realize God. Sri Ramakrishna said, "Haven't you seen the trees on the footpath along the street? They are fenced around as long as they are very young. Otherwise cattle destroy them. But there is no longer a need of fences when their trunks grow thick and strong. Then they won't break even if an elephant is tied to them. Just so, there will be no need for you to worry and fear if you make your mind as strong as a thick tree trunk. First of all, try to acquire discrimination. Break the jackfruit open only after you have rubbed your hands with oil. Then its sticky milk won't smear them." Then the neighbor asked, "What is discrimination?" Sri Ramakrishna said, "Discrimination is the reasoning by which one knows that God alone is real, and all else is unreal. Real means eternal, and unreal means impermanent. He who has acquired discrimination knows that God is the only substance and all else is non-existent. With the awakening of this spirit of discrimination, a man wants to know God. On the contrary, if a man loves the unreal such things as creature comforts, name, fame and wealth, then he doesn't want to know God, who is of the very nature of reality. Through discrimination between the real and the unreal, one seeks to know God. So, what is needed is very strong, resolute mind, undaunted mind, unshakable faith. That we should cultivate. We can do. It is possible only when we make efforts sincerely. That means we need to be strong. Unless one is strong in his strength, one cannot save oneself in the network of Maya. Be strong in his strength. Make your mind strong through the observance of celibacy and the practice of meditation. After all, what is the meaning and purpose of spiritual practice and disciplines? It is to strengthen this will, the will to attain God in this very life. Lust, anger, delusion, these are strong enemies. Be strong in the strength of God and escape from this net of Maya. So, we should know the fact and act accordingly how to overcome the obstacles in spiritual path. That's the way to practice yoga. Every step is important and we have to follow it up with great faith and strength. Then it is possible that we get the joy of spiritual life. We shall continue next Tuesday. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. Let us offer our salutations to Lord Krishna, the embodiment of bliss, who came to establish Dharma and punish the wicked. Let us pray to him to give peace and prosperity, strength and faith, so that we may achieve the goal of realizing the truth. Peace, peace, peace be unto all.